Hi, my name is Bill Kinney, and this is video number 48 in a series I'm making on the foundations of arithmetic, algebra, and graphing with a focus on real-life interpretation and application. It's part 7 of a sub-series on algebra, formulas, functions, and graphing with an emphasis on spreadsheet usage. And now, as you can tell, we're finally to the point where I'm going to show you how to use a spreadsheet. And I'm on a Mac, and I'm working on Excel on the Mac. If you use Excel on a PC, it probably looks different than this to some extent, but it should work effectively the same. If you're using some other spreadsheet, there's a program, for instance, called Numbers on a Mac, or perhaps a Google spreadsheet. You may have different features than what I show you, but hopefully the basics will be the same. So what kind of math should we do here? Well, let me just first show you just the layout here with the cursor. You see that you have different cells, different boxes, if you will. These are called cells that you can highlight in different spots. Each cell has a label. For example, this cell is in column C and row 3, so its label, its address, if you will, is C3. I think I'll usually call that a cell reference. This cell down there is cell B7. This cell over here is cell E10, and you can go down quite a ways, in fact, thousands of rows, and over quite a ways. I'm not sure, I think it's fewer numbers of columns, but you can go over, and you see if you go over far enough that eventually the columns start to be labeled with more than just one letter. But let's keep it up here. You can type in text into a cell. A little slow there. Hello, that's in cell C1. If you type in text longer than that, you see that it extends over into cell D1, but it really is still stored, if you will, in cell C1. Look up at the top there. If I click on C1 and then I look up here, it says, hello, how are you doing? That's indicating what's in that cell, what's stored in that cell, this text. If I now tab over to cell D1, now look at the top, there's nothing in there. Even though you see you doing over here, up at the top, there's nothing there. There's nothing stored in cell D1, and in fact I can type something else. I am fine in cell D1. And that's going to be what's stored in D1, and you see that the part that's in C1, hello, how are you doing, is hidden after the word are. Though by clicking right here, when I see the cursor turn into that kind of symbol, I can click and drag and make the cell bigger, and now you see the entire thing, hello, how are you doing, showing up. Actually, a quick way to do that is if you want to see what's in the cell entirely, you can just double click on this line and it automatically opens it up. If you type in a number, like 54, well, at least the default is to go ahead and treat it like a number. But if you get it to if you try to do this, 54 plus 32, it doesn't actually do the addition, and you see it now shifted it to the left. It's treating that like text actually. If you actually want it to calculate 54 plus 32, you have to type an equal sign. This is the standard thing that lets Excel know you're going to be doing some math. I put an equal sign first, and then I type 54 plus 32, and it will now do the math and get 86. Now it's stored in there as the number 86. Look up at the top, and you'll see that in reality, in the background, equals 54 plus 32 is still there, and what you see down here, it actually evaluates the sum. So that's kind of nice to have it both ways, the actual answer here and what you typed up here. Order of operations, as I've always been emphasizing, is very important, and knowing how order of operations should be done. For example, if I type equals 3 plus 4 times 5, think about that. What do you think that should be? The answer is 23. It should do the multiplication before the addition. 4 times 5 should get done first to get 20, and then 20 plus 3 is 23. If you really wanted to do the addition first, You want to put parentheses around the 3 plus 4. Now, because of the parentheses, that'll tell Excel to do the addition first. So you would do 3 plus 4 first to get 7, and then multiply by 5 to get 35. And there you go. By the way, I hope as you're watching this that you have Excel or some other spreadsheet open and you're experimenting with it. If not, you might want to pause the program, pause the video, and go ahead and open Excel or whatever other spreadsheet and go ahead and give these kinds of things a try. If you're back, I'd like to finish the video by just showing you a couple neat tricks that'll be relevant for functions, and what function am I going to be thinking about? I'm going to be thinking about the function y equals f of x equals 2x. Now, just typing that, it's just going to treat it like text. It's not going to do anything. I'm typing it so you see what function I'm going to be thinking about. Y equals f of x equals 2x. In other words, the function takes a number x and multiplies it by 2 to get an output y. For example, if you plug in x equals 3, you would get 6 out. F of 3 equals 6. I'm just typing as I would write here. I want to show you how to make a table for this, and yeah, we might have time to graph it real quick. There's a trick to making the numbers for x go up by 1 each time like this. Actually, I'm going to start with 0. But I don't want to show you that trick quite yet. Instead, I want to show you a related trick that's a little bit simpler, I think, to understand. I'm going to show you how to get this function, y equals 2x, to get Excel to actually calculate it for you quickly. And that's in this way. I type in equals because I want it to do math, and then I type a 2 times. What do I want to do in this column? I want to take the x in the B column and multiply it by 2 to get the y in the C column. Where is the x that I want to plug in? In this case, it's right here. The 0 is in cell B8. I'm going to type in, watch this, a B8 here. See that? I typed in a B8 right there. And when I enter that, it automatically did 2 times 0. If you don't believe me, you can copy and paste this formula downward, and it will automatically do the correct thing with the other numbers. Alternatively, you can put your cursor in the lower right corner of this cell, click, drag, let go, and look at this. These are the right outputs. When x is 1, y is 2 times 1 is 2. When x is 2, y is 2 times 2 is 4. When x is 3, y is 2 times 3 is 6. When x is 4, y equals 2 times 4 is 8. And when x is 5, y equals 2 times 5 is 10. This is a chart that you could make by hand and then graph a function based on that chart. Let me just show you real quick that Excel can graph it too. I go up to charts here. This is where it's different on a Mac compared to a PC sometimes. I click on charts, and I usually pick a scatter plot. And I'll probably want to pick one of these where I can draw the line between them. Actually, I think I want to highlight these first. And you can highlight the X and the Y as well. Click on that, and we see a chart come up, a graph. And let's make this smaller. It is the graph of this function. You can format things in the way you want. I don't have time for it on this particular video, but I do want you to just notice when x is 1, y is 2, when x is 2, y is 4, you can see that this is the right graph. I'll probably play with formatting it a little bit in the next video.